story time. So I take Ubers home from work currently. And so I got on an Uber the other night, and I've gone on Ubers a lot, and I've had really good experiences on Ubers. The drivers are nice, they talk, or they don't talk, it's just a good time, and it's peaceful, and like I feel good about it. And I'm like, oh, Ubers are so safe because they have to go through reviews and stuff, and background checks and stuff. And so I'm like, oh, it's nice. Like, I don't have anything to worry about. And so I'm taking Ubers and stuff. And, they're all great experiences. So then I got off work the other night and I get an Uber. And usually when you do an Uber, you'll go into the thing. I don't know if you guys have done an Uber or not, but you'll put your destination. So they know your destination. So basically, I go in there, I request the ride, get assigned a driver. Well, then, this never has happened to me before, but I get the Uber driver messaging me and asking where I'm going. And I'm like, that's weird. That doesn't usually happen. So I told him the apartment complex, and so I told him that, and then I was like, I don't know why you're asking for this, though. The app should tell you. And I don't know, why you're asking, because you should already know. So it's kind of weird. And he, goes on to try to figure out what apartment number I'm in. And I'm like, I'm just going to these apartments. And he's like, got it. And then he comes and picks me up. And I'm like, okay, maybe he's just trying to be nice. I don't know. So I get in the Uber, and he's just so cold the whole time. And it's just so awkward in there. He's acting I don't know. And so I just have this really uneasy feeling. And so as soon as I had gotten that message, I just I don't know how I feel about this. So I called my friend Shaylee, and I had my AirPods in, so you couldn't tell. And she was listening to the whole ride, because I was scared. I was like, this is just, I don't know. Maybe I'm just overreacting. I don't know, but I just have an uneasy feeling. So she's listening in, and I get in there, and he's just so cold, and he was trying to figure out what apartment I was in, and he was just he was acting it was so awkward. And he was just acting so cold. And then he takes me into some dark alley and wants me to get out. And so I'm like, this is not where I'm going. And he gets annoyed at it. And I was like, it's fine. I'll just get out here. I can just walk, because at this point, I'm just I just want to get out of this thing. Because it's just so awkward. And he's just being creepy. Creepy stalker vibes. And he just was, well, and then this isn't that bad, but compared to all this other stuff, but he had bathed in Axe body spray, and he kept farting. So not only was it unpleasant with the stalker vibes, but there was a smell too. But yeah, so anyway, he goes into this dark alley, and I was wanting to get out at this point, because I'm just this is just creepy. Just let me out then, and I'll just walk. Because at this point, he's just trying to figure out what apartment I'm in, and I'm I don't want that. So I was maybe it's better. But the fact that he had gone into a dark alley and expected me to get out initially was kind of weird and sketchy. But anyway, he ends up going and continuing on and going to the actual apartments. And then he's which apartment is it again? Trying to figure out what apartment it is. And I'm not going to tell him what apartment I'm in. And so I'm just just right here is good. Which was not by where I was going to go. Because I didn't want him to know. Because he's over here giving off stalker vibes. Creepy. He's just so cold. It's just the most awkward ride ever. So I get out. And he parks. And watches. and waits to see what apartment I go into. So at this point, I'm like, I don't freaking know what to do, because he's watching me in parks, and he's watching to see what apartment I go in. And so I'm like, I don't know. Like, I don't want to go up to my apartment, because if I go up to my apartment, he's going to know where I go. I'm like, do I go up a different one? And so it looks like I'm going to go there. And I'm like, no, because that's not going to work. Because if I go up there, I'm just standing there and I'm not going in. So he's going to know and he's going to wait. So I ended up like circling around the building to where like you couldn't drive in that area to make it look like that's where I lived. So I walk around the building and then I just stand back there. And it was cold and I didn't bring a jacket because I was like, it was nice when I went to work. And I was like, I'm going to be in an Uber. I'll go right in. So I was freezing because it was cold. And so I circled to the back of the apartments. And I'm like standing there terrified that when I go back around, he's going to still be there and figure out where I live and be like a stalker. And he was just so, it was just like the most uneasy experience I've ever had in my life. So I'm back there, and thank God when I went back around, he had given up and left, because I was able to go into my apartment, and I instantly locked the doors, and I talked to my friend that had overheard everything, and she was like, yeah, I'm like, it was like scary. Like, I don't know. I've never had that bad of an experience. So I ended up reporting it in the app, and they took it very seriously and are gonna look into it, and they apologized to me, and they're gonna make sure, like, you know, it's looked into, because that's not okay. The way that he was, they said, is against their community guidelines, and they want us to feel safe, and they thanked me for letting them know. And so, I mean, at least I feel good knowing that I, you know, was able to report this uneasiness that I had, so that others don't have that. And it was just like such a, like, who knew? Like, and so then I end up going through YouTube, scrolling through YouTube, and I see a video about an Uber serial killer. So I'm over here like, that could have been him. Like, he could have been the same way. And it's like, I don't know, but at least I got home safe. I got away from him, and I don't think he knows what apartment I'm in, because I went behind the building, but yeah, it was bad. And so I basically like told them everything, and they're gonna look into it, and they apologized, and they actually credited back the money that I spent for the Uber, which I wasn't expecting to happen. That's not what I was trying to get out of it. I just wanted, you know, them to know how uneasy I felt, so it wouldn't happen to someone else. And so I was kind of scared to send the review, but I did it, and it was anonymous, and, you know, seemed like they listened and cared. So if you guys ever have like an uneasy experience, I would report it. Like, you know, try to help others not have the same experience. And I'm just so glad that I got away from him and in one piece, and he didn't figure out where I lived, and I'm here. And now every time I take an Uber, I'm gonna be a little more cautious. Gonna have my pepper spray on hand in case I need it, because that's scary. And we'll just hope that the rest of my experiences are not awful like this, and that I don't get any more stalker vibes, because that was like terrifying. And yeah, that's the worst Uber experience I've had in my life, and I am so glad I'm okay, because that was scary. And yeah, that's my story. So have a good night, stay safe and vigilant and aware of your surroundings, and be safe, and hopefully you don't have experiences like I did. Anyway, that's my video. I love you all. Bye. Stay safe.